Matrina and Elias trudged along the winding forest path. Their hearts weighed heavy with worry for their younger brother, Matthias. He lay confined in their abode, struck down by a long-standing and mysterious illness that defied the village healer's remedies. As Matrina and Elias trekked through the dense forest, shafts of golden sunlight pierced through the canopy above, casting dappled patterns of light and shadow upon the forest floor. The air was thick with the earthy scent of damp soil and the sweet fragrance of wildflowers, mingling together in a symphony of nature's perfume. Tall trees towered overhead, their branches reaching skyward like ancient sentries guarding the secrets of the forest. Moss-covered rocks jutted out from the undergrowth, softened by the passage of time and the gentle touch of nature's hand. Birdsong filled the air, a melodic chorus of chirps and trills that echoed through the trees, accompanied by the occasional rustle of leaves as small creatures darted through the underbrush. But the siblings were not attuned to the natural beauty surrounding them, as their minds were ensnared, grasped with determination to find a cure for their ailing kin back in their village. Matthias, the youngest sibling in the family, bore the weight of an illness that had haunted him since infancy. His ailment manifested in subtle yet insidious ways, casting a shadow over his vibrant spirit. At first glance, Matthias appeared like any other child, with bright eyes that sparkled with curiosity and a smile that could light up a room. But beneath his cheerful facade lurked a silent struggle, as he grappled with the invisible chains of his affliction. The illness often resulted in unpredictable bouts of fatigue, draining Matthias of his energy and leaving him pale and weak. Simple tasks that other children took for granted became Herculean feats for him, as each day brought new challenges and obstacles to overcome. The affliction worsened with each passing year, and in his 7th year of life, it began to manifest as voices speaking from within his head. The village healers searched tirelessly for answers, consulting ancient tomes and seeking the guidance of wise elders. Yet, despite their efforts, the true nature of Matthias's illness remained elusive, a puzzle with no clear solution. For Elias and Matrina, watching their brother suffer was a heart-wrenching experience. They longed to ease his pain and restore him to health, but their efforts were met with frustration and despair. And so, driven by love and a fierce determination to find a cure, they set out on a quest to seek the aid of the legendary Blue Serpent Lady. Their last hope lay with this goddess-like figure, as she was rumored to possess ancient knowledge and potent cures deep within the heart of the enchanted forest. As Matrina and Elias ventured deeper into the forest, their figures cut a striking contrast against the verdant backdrop. Matrina, the elder sister, possessed a lithe frame adorned in practical attire suited for their trek through the wilderness. Her hazel eyes, flecked with hints of gold, shimmered with dedication, reflecting the dappled sunlight filtering through the canopy above. Her chestnut hair cascaded in loose waves down her back, occasionally catching the gentle breeze that whispered secrets through the rustling leaves. Beside her, Elias walked with a sturdy stride, his muscular build hinting at a life spent navigating the rugged terrain of their homeland. His deep-set eyes, the color of rich earth, surveyed their surroundings with a keen awareness, ever vigilant for signs of danger or hidden paths. His dark hair, tousled by the wind, framed a face etched with the lines of fortitude and resilience, a testament to his unwavering commitment to their quest. Together they moved as one, their bond as siblings woven into every step they took. Their footsteps echoed through the forest, a rhythmic cadence that spoke of their shared purpose and unyielding resolve. And as they journeyed onward, guided by the call of adventure and the promise of hope, they knew that no obstacle could deter them from their quest to find the Blue Serpent Lady and secure the cure for their ailing brother. As they journeyed, the siblings navigated through thickets and overgrown trails, guided only by the faint whispers of the forest and their own determination. But their quest was not without its challenges, for the guardians of the serpent's domain were as whimsical as they were enigmatic, and they awaited them with veiled anticipation. Approaching the entrance to the clearing where the Blue Serpent Lady was believed to reside, Matrina and Elias were greeted not by formidable sentinels, but by jesters and clowns adorned in colorful attire. With mischievous grins and exaggerated gestures, the guardians blocked their path. One of the jesters, a figure cloaked in robes of shifting hues, turned towards them with a flourish. "Welcome, travelers," they chimed in unison, their voices harmonizing in a haunting melody. As the 7 jesters stood before them, their presence exuded an otherworldly aura that hinted at origins beyond mortal comprehension. Matrina's breath caught in her throat as she beheld them, her mind struggling to reconcile their ethereal appearance with the reality of their surroundings. Her voice quivered with awe as she leaned in and whispered to her brother, "Do you see them, Elias? They're unlike anything I've ever seen before." It was one thing to hear tales of the guardians, the gatekeepers of the deep realms of the forest, but to witness their otherworldly presence firsthand was an entirely different experience. The reality of their existence sent shivers down Matrina's spine, stirring a potent mixture of fascination and apprehension within her. Elias nodded, his eyes wide with wonder. "They're not of this world, that's for certain," he replied, his voice hushed in reverence. Despite the sense of unease gnawing at his insides, Elias remained captivated. Their attire shimmered with hues unseen in the natural world, a kaleidoscope of iridescent colors that seemed to shift and change with every passing moment. Their robes flowed like liquid light, draping elegantly around their forms in intricate patterns reminiscent of cosmic constellations. Each jester wore a mask crafted from shimmering gemstones, their expressions frozen in enigmatic smiles that hinted at secrets untold. And yet, despite their otherworldly appearance, there was a mischievous twinkle in the jester's eyes that spoke of a playful spirit, eager to test the wit and cunning of those who dared to approach. "Are you prepared to test your wit against the riddles of the ancients?" they questioned in unison. As they moved with an ethereal grace, the jesters followed up their inquiry with laughter that rang out like tinkling chimes, resounding in a melody that seemed to transcend time and space. Their movements were fluid and unpredictable, as if they existed in a realm where the laws of physics held no sway. "We cannot simply allow any traveler to wander into the sanctuary of the Serpent," declared one of the jesters, twirling a multicolored scarf around his fingers. "You must prove yourselves worthy of the lady's attention." Matrina and Elias glanced at each other anxiously, standing stiff in their tracks along the beaten path. "Go on, please," Matrina pleaded, her voice barely more than a hushed murmur. The jesters grinned wickedly, clearly delighted by the opportunity to test the siblings' intellect. With a flourish of their hands, they conjured a shimmering orb of light, within which danced the riddle waiting to be unraveled. "In the morning it walks on 4 legs, at midday on 2, and in the evening on 3. What is it?" the jesters chorused, their voices blending in a melodic challenge. Matrina furrowed her brow, pondering the riddle's meaning. "A creature of some kind," she murmured to herself, considering the clues carefully. 4 legs in the morning, 2 at midday, and 3 in the evening. Elias leaned in closer, his gaze intent on the floating orb. "I know this one," he whispered to Matrina. "It's a human. They crawl as infants, walk on 2 legs as adults, and often use a cane in old age." A smile spread across Matrina's face as she realized the answer. "A human," she declared confidently, her voice ringing out into the air. The jesters erupted into applause, their laughter echoing through the trees. "Well done, travelers," they exclaimed, their begrudging admiration evident. Thus began a game of riddles and puzzles, each more perplexing than the last. Matrina and Elias squared their shoulders, their determination unyielding despite the unknown challenges before them. With the use of quick thinking and shared knowledge, they were eager to unravel each enigma. Another riddle was set in place to be announced. Matrina and Elias looked into each other's eyes momentarily, and breathed deeply and eagerly, steeling themselves for the challenge ahead. A clownish guardian once again raised a hand, and a shimmering orb of light materialized before them, containing the next riddle. What has keys but can't open locks? You can enter but can't go outside. What is it? The guardian intoned, his voice reverberating with mystic energy. Matrina furrowed her brow, pondering the riddle's cryptic words. Keys that can't open locks. Entering but not exiting. She murmured, racing to unravel the puzzle. She pondered silently, considering various possibilities. Could it be a secret? She mused to herself, but upon reflection she dismissed the idea. No, that doesn't quite fit. Her thoughts continued to churn as she searched for the answer. Perhaps it's a thought? Frustration tinged her own thoughts as she struggled to decipher the riddle. What else could it be? She wondered, grappling with the possible solution. But despite her efforts, the answer remained stubbornly out of reach. Elias paced back and forth, his eyes scanning the clearing for clues. A piano! He exclaimed suddenly, a spark of realization igniting within him. It has keys that produce music, but they can't open locks. And when you play, you enter into the world of sound, but you can't physically go outside. Matrina's eyes widened in agreement as she listened to her brother's words. The mention of the piano stirred a faint memory within her as well, a distant recollection of their grandfather's tales of ancient instruments and forgotten melodies. Yes, a piano, she exclaimed, her voice filled with certainty. I remember our grandfather telling us about it. He said it was an ancient instrument, a relic from a time long past, but its music had the power to transport listeners to another realm. The guardians nodded solemnly, impressed by the siblings' knowledge and ingenuity. You have proven yourselves as worthy of passing, they declared, stepping aside to allow Matrina and Elias to pass. However, just as the siblings began to inch forward and before they could rejoice, the guardians erupted into jubilant laughter, their mirth resounding like the chiming of bells. They then quickly blocked the siblings' path once again, their robes swirling around them in a playful dance. With such wit and wisdom you are indeed worthy, they exclaimed in unison, their voices filled with mischief. But do not think your journey ends here. There is one final test you must face before you can claim your prize. A final challenge awaits you. One of the jesters declared, their voice melodic and haunting. Can you unravel the secrets we hold? Each of us embodies a concept that shapes the cosmos. Matrina furrowed her brow, her thoughts circling to decode the puzzle. Concepts that shape the cosmos, she murmured, turning to Elias for guidance. Elias nodded thoughtfully, his gaze fixed on the jesters before them. It's a riddle, he replied, his voice filled with determination. We need to think beyond the obvious trend, just like grandfather taught us. As the words left his lips, Elias's mind conjured an image of his beloved grandfather. He saw the familiar figure, standing tall with a white beard flowing like a cascade of wisdom, his weathered face etched with lines of experience, each one a symbol of the wisdom earned over a lifetime of exploration and discovery. Matrina's eyes widened in recognition at Elias's words, a flicker of memory stirring within her. Their grandfather, a sage of ancient lore and wisdom, had often regaled them with tales of riddles and enigmas that tested the mind and spirit. As small children, they spent countless hours exploring the forests and meadows surrounding their village, searching for hidden truths and ancient relics that echoed the stories their grandfather told. As they grew older, their thirst for knowledge only intensified. Matrina, with her sharp intellect and keen intuition, often surprised her elders with her insightful observations and thoughtful questions. Elias, on the other hand, possessed a quiet wisdom beyond his years, his calm demeanor and unwavering willpower serving as a beacon of strength for those around him. You're right, Elias, Matrina said, her voice infused with newfound determination. Now her grandfather's teachings echoed in her mind like distant whispers of wisdom, guiding her thoughts as they contemplated the jester's challenge. We must trust in our intuition and look beyond the surface to uncover hidden truths. We must. There is no other way, she exclaimed. The siblings turned their attention to the first jester, studying its twinkling attire and mystifying expression. Perhaps this jester represents the passage of time, Elias suggested tentatively. Its robes seemed to flow like the sands of an hourglass. His voice trailed off with a hint of doubt. Matrina considered his words for a moment before shaking her head. "I'm not so sure," she replied thoughtfully. "What about the cycle of life and death?" The jester's mask has a solemn expression, like that of a guardian watching over the souls of the departed. Elias nodded in agreement, but uncertainty lingered in his eyes. "It's possible," he conceded. "But let's not jump to conclusions just yet. We need to consider all possibilities, remember." Turning their attention to the second jester, the siblings pondered its regal demeanor and commanding presence. "This one is more challenging," Matrina admitted, her brow furrowing in concentration. "Perhaps it represents power and authority, like a king or queen ruling over their kingdom." Elias nodded thoughtfully, but a note of doubt crept into his voice. "Or maybe it symbolizes balance and harmony," he suggested. "The jester's posture is poised and graceful, like a dancer moving in perfect rhythm." As they continued to debate the possible meanings of each jester, the answers felt further away, slipping through their fingers like grains of sand. Despite their earnest efforts, the siblings found themselves no closer to unraveling the bewildering puzzle before them. With a heavy sigh, Matrina cast a somber look at Elias, her eyes reflecting their shared frustration. "I thought we had it," she admitted, her voice tinged with disappointment. "But it seems we're still missing something." Elias nodded in agreement, his gaze fixed on the jesters before them. "We'll figure it out," he replied, his voice filled with determination. "We just need to keep searching for the answers." As the siblings debated the possible meanings of each jester, the jesters remained stoic and unyielding, their presence a silent testament to the nature of the riddle before them. Yet, beneath their impassive exteriors, there was a hint of amusement in their eyes, as if they were enjoying the children's attempts to unravel the mysteries that lay hidden within their whirling robes and masks. "There are 7 jesters," Matrina remarked dishearteningly. "How can we hope to figure out what all 7 represent, when we haven't even deciphered one?" Elias took a step forward, his hand reaching out to grasp Matrina's in a gesture of solidarity. "We'll get through this," he murmured, his voice a quiet reassurance amidst the unknown that surrounded them. "Together." As he spoke, a glimmer of realization began to dawn in his sister's mind. "Wait," she blurted thoughtfully, her voice tinged with excitement. "The number 7. It's significant, isn't it? 7 days of the week, 7 colors of the rainbow. Perhaps there's a pattern to this riddle, a deeper meaning hidden within the number itself." Elias's eyes widened as he caught on to her train of thought, a spark of understanding igniting in his own mind. "You're right, Trin," he exclaimed, his voice filled with newfound zeal. "If we unlock the importance of the number 7, we may find the answer. Each of us embodies a shape of the cosmos." "Cosmos," Matrina repeated the riddle aloud, the words reverberating in her mind like a distant gong. "But what could that mean?" Elias paced next to her, his forehead adorned with lines of concentration as he mulled over Matrina's words. "What could it mean?" Matrina's gaze fell upon the vibrant regalia and masks of the jesters, each adorned with intricate patterns and symbols that seemed to dance in the flickering light of the clearing. Suddenly, a spark of understanding ignited in her mind, and she felt a surge of excitement course through her veins. "Shape of the cosmos," she mused aloud, her voice tinged with realization. "Elias, could it be planets?" Her words hung in the air, shimmering with potential, as she grasped onto the emerging thread of insight. In that moment, the vast expanse of the cosmos seemed to shrink to the size of a single thought, as she dared to contemplate the cosmic dance of celestial bodies. Elias's eyes widened as he caught on to her train of thought, a smile of recognition spreading across his face. "Of course," he exclaimed, his voice filled with excitement. "The planets. Each one embodies a unique aspect of the cosmos." As the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, Matrina's thoughts surged with clarity. "There are 7 celestial bodies," she remarked, her voice filled with breathless determination. "And each jester represents a planet, therefore. Each embodies a shape of the cosmos." Together, they turned to the jesters, their resolve unwavering. "Our answer is clear," Matrina declared, her voice ringing out with certainty. "Each jester represents a planet in the cosmos." She shared a meaningful look with Elias, as she was certain that they had overcome yet another obstacle on their path to finding the Blue Serpent Lady. The jesters regarded them with knowing smiles, their eyes twinkling with approval. "Well done, travelers," they chimed in unison, their voices carrying a melodic tone that echoed through the forest like a chorus. With a flourish of their robes, the jesters began to dance and clap, their movements graceful and fluid as they celebrated the siblings' victory. Their masks seemed to glint with an otherworldly light, casting a radiant aura that bathed the clearing in a shimmering cascade of colors. Matrina watched in awe as the jesters' dance unfolded before them. Elias's mind, on the other hand, raced as he observed the jesters' intricate dance. Persistently curious, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to their performance than met the eye. What secrets lay hidden behind their playful facade? Yet, he pushed this thought to the back of his mind for now, choosing to focus on the moment. After all, they had come too far to let skepticism cloud their judgment now. As the jesters' dance began to wind down, Matrina and Elias embraced each other in satisfaction, smiling widely as they felt a sense of accomplishment wash over them. But before they could bask in their victory, the jesters spoke again, their voices carrying a note of mystery and intrigue. "It's not over yet, travelers," they said in unison, their voices reverberating like a whispering breeze. "You have yet to prove yourselves worthy. This is a 2-part riddle." Matrina and Elias' faces contorted into a puzzled look, their curiosity piqued by the jester's cryptic words. For a moment they were speechless. As Matrina wrestled with her doubts, Elias's mind hurried with a familiar understanding. He knew all too well that appearances could be deceiving, and that there was often more than met the eye. "It's not over yet, travelers," the jester's words echoed in his head, stirring a sense of anticipation tinged with caution. "What do you mean?" Matrina finally muttered, her voice tinged with uncertainty, her spirits deflated by the tricksters putting yet another stop to their relief. The jesters smiled gleefully, their masks glowing in the fading light of the setting sun. "You must guess which jester represents which planet," one explained, its voice filled with anticipation. "Each of us embodies the essence of a celestial body, and it is up to you to match us with our counterparts." Matrina and Elias's eyes widened in surprise at the revelation, realizing that their journey was far from over. But despite the challenge that lay ahead, they felt a renewed sense of determination coursing through their veins. Matrina's heart quickened at the anticipation, before locking eyes with Elias, witnessing a deep fire within his eyes. "We accept your challenge," Elias declared, his voice firm and resolute. While Matrina felt a momentary sense of defeat, Elias was not backing down. "We will do whatever it takes to complete our quest and find the Blue Serpent Lady," he stated. With a nod of approval, the jesters stepped aside, allowing Matrina and Elias to approach them one by one. As they studied each jester carefully, their intellects brimmed with possibilities, determined to unlock the final riddle. With a confident smile, Elias turned to Matrina, his eyes alight. "Matrina, it's so simple," he exclaimed, his voice brimming with excitement. "We just need to match the attributes of each jester with the characteristics of the 7 celestials. Let's start with observation." As he spoke, Elias stepped forward, studying each jester with a keen eye. The first jester, with its fluid movements, reminded him of the grace and elegance of Venus, the planet of love and beauty. "This one must be Venus," he declared, pointing to the jester with certainty. Moving on to the next jester, Elias observed its regal demeanor and commanding presence. "This one exudes authority and power," he remarked thoughtfully. "I think it represents Jupiter, the planet of expansion and abundance." While Matrina stood beside him, her attention keen, Elias spoke in a hushed tone. "Just recall the chart," he whispered, his encouragement tender and comforting. "Think back to our lessons on the celestial spheres and their attributes." As he continued to analyze each jester, Elias assuredly matched their attributes with the characteristics of the planets, his confidence growing with each correct guess. "The third jester," he began, his voice filled with certainty, "seems to embody a sense of mystery and intuition, much like the nature of the moon, guiding us through the night with its gentle glow." As Elias confidently identified the first three jesters, Matrina watched with admiration, impressed by her brother's astute observations. "You're doing great, Elias," she encouraged him, her voice filled with excitement. "Let's see if we can figure out the rest together." Turning her attention to the remaining jesters, Matrina felt a surge of anticipation coursing through her veins. With each jester she studied, she searched for clues that would help her match them with the attributes of the planets. Her scrutiny was thorough, examining every detail from their attire to their posture, overall demeanor, and down to the smallest nuances of their belled shoes. "The fourth jester," she began tentatively, "seems to embody a sense of discipline and structure, like the planet Saturn, with its rings symbolizing boundaries and limitations." As she moved on to the fifth jester, Matrina's brow furrowed in concentration. "This one is tricky," she admitted, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "But I sense a fiery energy, like the passion and drive of Mars." With only two jesters left to identify, Matrina's excitement grew with each passing moment. "The sixth jester," she mused aloud, her eyes alight with determination. "It exudes a sense of wisdom and knowledge, reminiscent of the intellect and curiosity of Mercury." Finally, Matrina turned her attention to the seventh jester, the last piece of the puzzle. "This one," she said with a smile, "radiates a sense of harmony and balance, much like the serenity of Earth." As she spoke, a wave of exhilaration washed over her, knowing that they were on the verge of completing their quest. As Matrina and Elias finished their identifications, the jesters regarded them with a sense of awe and respect. "Truly remarkable," one of the jesters exclaimed, their voice carrying a tone of bewildered admiration. "You have proven yourselves worthy of our challenge, displaying wisdom and insight beyond your years." The siblings swapped a glance, a mixture of pride and relief evident in their eyes. Despite the challenges they had faced, they had emerged victorious, their bond as siblings stronger than ever. With a nod of approval, the jesters stepped aside, clearing the path for Matrina and Elias to continue their journey. "Go forth, brave travelers," they said in unison, their voices echoing through the clearing. "May the wisdom of the cosmos guide you on your quest, and may you find the answers you seek." At long last, the final barrier fell away, and the siblings stepped into the heart of the clearing. The tranquil clearing was adorned with the splendor of a flowing crystalline river. Sunlight danced upon the surface of the water, casting shimmering reflections that painted the surrounding foliage in hues of gold and emerald. But their eyes were drawn not to the blue serpent lady, but to a small girl seated on a wooden swing affixed to a grand weeping willow tree. Her laughter filled the surroundings as she swung steadily. She was attired in a voluminous blue lace dress, with her hair worn in shiny dark ringlet curls, draped around her rounded cheeks. The diminutive figure of this small girl appeared incongruous amidst the forest's grandeur. "Welcome, brave adventurers," the girl announced, her voice as melodious as a songbird's. "You seek the wisdom of the blue serpent lady, do you not?" Matrina and Elias nodded eagerly, their hearts pulsating with expectation. "Follow the path to the river's edge," the girl continued, pointing toward a narrow trail obscured by ivy and wildflowers. "There you will find the entrance to her domain. But heed my warning. The serpent's counsel comes at a price, and not all who seek her wisdom are prepared to pay." Despite her tender age, her words carried a weight of wisdom, resonating with a maturity that belied her childish appearance. A silent query lingered in the minds of the siblings as they exchanged uncertain glances. Could this seemingly innocent child be more than she appeared? Without saying a word, they reached out and clasped each other's hands, their grip firm and reassuring. In that simple gesture, they silently reaffirmed their bond and their commitment to see their quest through to the end, no matter the obstacles that lay ahead. With a solemn nod of gratitude, the siblings set forth once more, their determination renewed by the promise of a cure for their ailing little brother. Hand in hand, they ventured deeper into the forest, guided by the gentle whispers of the wind and the distant murmur of the river beyond.